Good afternoon, everybody, and happy Wednesday. What a day. I could not be happier, to be honest with you. Extremely happy with the action we saw out there today. And I'm going to walk through every single trade as always that we took. And really, the only thing that we played today was really GMPX. It was the most obvious stock out there today, and I didn't touch anything else. Except for, you'll see what else I played as well. But let's go and dive right into it. Walk you through step by step how I did it, why I did it, when I did it. What a day. GMPX was the one today to keep those eyes on. This thing was tremendous. And so I want to break it down with you here. And today was a weird day because going into the open, everybody had their eyes on that COOT. Everybody was watching COT. And it was on last night's watch list. If you're in the free trial, you're in the community. You got my watch list last night way down here, underneath $2. And this thing explodes. Hits over $4. Actually hits what, 5? So this thing was up 200% from the watch list last night. Everybody was watching this. But I knew going into the open today, this just was not a good setup. For one, we sort of flip structure off the high because, again, we have this higher high. And we can sort of see the angle of this move slowly start to decrease. Right? So we slowly begin to get less steep. And so we have this almost megaphone pattern here, which I don't love. And we had the bottom of trend way down here. So this thing was super extended. I felt like it was overdone. And we also had this big move off the high here. And it's just like, I didn't like this. It just wasn't a good setup. It was a good setup back here this morning, early pre-market, whenever it broke out here. But whenever you're in this you're in this super wide channel, it's just my least favorite setup to trade. Anytime I have these really wide ascending channels, I just leave it alone. I can't do it. I don't trade them well. They don't trade me well. And they just are crappy setups. And so I didn't like this. And so I looked around. There really wasn't much going into market open that was worth watching. So I was like, all right, we don't really have much to look at here. So what do I do? Well, whenever that's the case, my job is to sit back and wait for, hopefully, something to come along and set up for me. And so I wait till after market open and wait to see where our trader is going to go because we know the volume's out there. Like I said this morning on stream, volume's out there because we have a stock up 400% or whatever it was up in pre-market. So I know there's volume somewhere. That volume's got to go somewhere. Those traders are going to look for the next opportunity. And so it's my job to sit back until that opportunity shows back up. Where are traders going to begin to circle to? And today that was GMPX. This thing looked awesome. Look at this on the daily first. Of course, this pops in pre-market. This thing was up big in pre. And we look at the daily time frame. Let's look at that. So much range to the upside. Once we got the break here, we had room to 80 cents in a dollar. So I knew once we got over, you can see the level here. 50-cent breakout got us room here to 80 cents in a dollar. This thing just looked awesome, man. This really was an awesome looking, obvious setup today. It's an obvious setup today. And so we knew that 50-cent level was key on the daily time frame. Once we're over 50, we had room to 80 cents in a dollar. It was like, awesome. All right. So in knowing that, I see this try to get breaking to the upside here out of market open because we have the opening range formed here, which then breaks to the upside, a bit of an opening range breakout. It pulls back to retest. I first tried taking it here on the pullback off the moving averages to see if we could then get the curl back up through its highs. And we didn't get it there. I did get a small win on that. You can see here, got a very small win on this. But it didn't really make the move yet. And so it falls back beneath moving averages. And at that point, I'm still watching and waiting to see if it sets up again. Because now we formed, again, you can see here this rejection where we, again, break underneath moving averages, retest VWAP, put in place a nice bottom here, see double bottom off of VWAP, and then it breaks back above. So cool. At this point, we break trend back to the upside over the moving averages, you can see here as well. Get over the moving averages, and then we look for the next pullback. So grab the next pullback here after breaking trend. Because we're also over the 50-cent level, which is right here. Look, this is that 50-cent level we just talked about. So we're over that 50-cent level. We see big buyers step in here. A lot of volume starting to pour in. Price breaks out, pulls back, and I take an entry here at 52.80, risking off the bottom of this last candle. So 52.80, risking off of 50. So 2 cents of risk. 2 cents of risk. And then we get ripping here. We actually got to move here all the way to about 57 cents. So going to move over the high of day, just trailed 1 minute lows as always. As we got breaking higher, just trailed 1 minute candle lows with my stop loss until eventually was stopped out with my last little bit of profit here. And then again, price pulls back, puts in place a range here. Look at this. Doji off the low, signaling reversal. Makes move back up into the high and then finds a seller. And so from there, I know we have this lower high and I know we have these higher lows. And again, you've got this perfect setup here. So price pulls back. I nail an entry here, as you can see, at 55 cents. I took a little bit of size out because, as you can see, this little red flag. I had a little bit too much size. I wanted to get some ads on the breakout, but I didn't get any ads on the breakout just because I wasn't trusting the market today really based on what we'd seen the last few days, but nonetheless. And so price pulls back, take the entry, risking off this past candle's low, 53 cents from a 55-cent entry, again, 2 cents of risk. And then we get breaking out. Now, as price breaks out and that structure flips to the upside, again, this is where the structure flips right here. We're going to do what? We're going to raise stop loss. And so initially, of course, you raise your stop loss. Once we find buyers off these lows, stop loss gets raised to here, right? And then again, once this actually gets breaking to the upside, I want to make sure this follows through. And so from there, raising my stop to the next candle's low, and then so on and so forth. It stops to break even in this case. Watch it track higher as we begin to see, again, weakness off these highs. Got some more trims and raised my stop loss to the bottom of this area of consolidation. So again, from there, we were able to ride this thing. You can see from 55 cents all the way to about 67 cents up into this previous wick off the high. Because what I was wanting to see here was a break of the 70 level for full take profit, which is what we did. And the reason why is because if you do zoom out here and look at the larger time frames, you'll see what I was looking at here. For that particular exit, you can see right here. And so let me actually use a line so it's on the charts here. But you can see right here, we have that ascending resistance here right underneath 70 cents, which you can see took full profit right at the top trend. And again, I was super happy with it. Wouldn't have done that any differently, really. And so that was that. Captured the nice big win there. That was beautiful. But that wasn't it. And so we had that 70-cent level there that was key. Then we see price pull back off these highs here. So this was this trade again, 55 to about 70. And then we see price pull back off these highs here. I'm waiting for it to get away from the top of trend, which sits right here. And we see a buyer step in off the 90 MA. After we see that, I take the entry, risking off the bottom of this candle. And so again, from here, very simple setup. Look at this. Higher lows formed. And we have this channel formed here as well. So this was a really good setup. So after I found buyers come in and confirm off this area of demand, nailed the entry, risking off the bottom of this candle. And again, you're looking at 64.50, risking off of about 62. So again, about 2 cents a share of risk. All of these very similar in terms of my risk amount. As you can see, just based on the range of the stock, it seems most of these were about 2 cents. And then again, I just trail 1 minute candle lows. As you can see here, 1 minute candle lows until I eventually took profit up here as we found some weakness off these highs. And again, just super happy with it. But that wasn't it either. Now, the only part that I didn't trade here was this right here. We have this consolidation. There's no real clear trend formed here. Again, this is just sort of the sideways consolidation where you put in place this rounded bottom and then it gets to break out higher. But I had a lot of conviction on the actual breakout itself, and I typically don't like breakouts a whole lot, but we had something really good here where we have this big rejection off the high here. We have big rejection off the high here. We have so much consolidation through here for a good 20 minutes. The longer we consolidate tight up against the level like this, the higher chance we have of follow through because we've got so much volume sitting through here. You got so much volume through here, which creates a volume shelf, which creates support, which again allows for typical better follow through because it's a more clean breakout. It's much more obvious. And the more obvious the breakout is, of course, the more buyers find it, the more it follows through. And so as it broke out, of course, didn't chase the first breakout candle, waited for price to pull back. Took that first pullback off the 90 MA and then just trailed 1 minute candle lows until eventually it looks a little bit heavy and I took my full exit. So I missed this, but that was all I missed here. And I just was a little bit hesitant because I knew we had $1 right up here. And so I knew we were finding sellers down here around 90 or 85 cents. I didn't really want to overstay my welcome. Plus, I was already happy with the morning here. So that was that. Really happy with those trades. The only other thing that I touched today was CSAI, which was very small size and wasn't really much of anything here. It was a really good setup, and I really thought this was going to get going, and it looked really good, but of course it didn't. You can see here we have, again, this rally type move where you have this area of demand formed. Again, same thing happens. It pulls back and reverses off this range to confirm. And so I'm looking for, hopefully, a squeeze here up through the top of this range. Never happens. And so, again, just take a very small loss on this. Took it here from 175 to 176, and then here from 174 down to about 171. So, again, this is very small here. But nonetheless, didn't work out there. But GMPX was gorgeous. Again, 5 wins on GMPX today, so super happy with it. And the market is clearly heating up in a big way. In fact, we had some obvious stocks out there like GMPX today. Just couldn't be happier. Great sign for what's to come over the next week or so. Especially as we move up into the winter months, things are getting nice and active. You just got to be focusing on the right stocks. Today was one of those days where there wasn't really a whole lot that was obvious, a whole lot of opportunity, but there was a really good opportunity to just zone in the groove on. And that's where the most of the money is made on those days where there's that real obvious stock that just keeps on trucking, keeps on providing. That's where I make most of my money because you can just get focused in on the one stock. You don't have to sit here and flip around to this stock, and you spread your focus thin. And it's not only your focus thin, but everybody else's focus thin too, which again results in lacking follow through. So that being said, that sums up the morning recap. But if you did learn something from this video, always make sure to subscribe for daily content just like this and to watch me trade stocks just like this in real time every single day and get watch lists, alerts, education, chat room access, and so much more. Make sure to claim your 7-day free trial. That link is down in the description below. Check it out, and I'll see you back tomorrow for hopefully, well, we know it will be another awesome trading day ahead.